you're not failing. You were trained to ignore the only thing you actually control, your inputs. Have you noticed how the scoreboard makes you anxious before you even play? Grades, likes, salaries. Numbers you can't command, but somehow they command you. That's the trick. Teach a person to worship outcomes, and you can keep them obedient without ever raising your voice. Hold that thought. The escape isn't more hustle, it's sovereignty. Epictetus whispers from a very old room. Some things are up to us, some are not. Your training blurred that line on purpose. School praised the finish line, not the stride. Chaotic homes praised survival, not skill. Rigged jobs praised optics, not substance. You learned to try harder at levers that didn't move, and your nervous system tagged effort as dangerous. You didn't lack discipline. You learned paralysis around fake controls. Miss what I'm saying, and you'll keep paying for problems you didn't choose, because you can't think your way into control. You have to touch a lever and watch it move. One small action that changes the room. That click you feel, that's agency, quiet, ordinary, undeniable. What if the thing you avoid is the doorway to the life you want? We're going to rebuild the sensation of control, not someday now. Inputs first, outcomes later. The world can keep its scoreboard. You're going to build a spine. By the end of this, you'll have a map with a name, Input Sovereignty. And then we'll stress test it where your old training used to win. Breathe. The game you think you're losing changes the moment you pick up a lever that's actually yours. School taught you to chase the scoreboard before you learned how to run. You poured effort into essays that were filtered through rubrics, moods, and curves. One teacher praised your spark. Another called it off-topic. Same input, different verdicts. Your nervous system took notes. The lever you pull doesn't move the weight. Try less, care quietly, stay small. Home doubled it. Rules changed with weather. The same best behavior earned a smile one night and a storm the next. You learned vigilance, not agency. Reading faces like forecasts, scanning for the next low-pressure front. If safety is random, effort becomes suspicious. Trying starts to feel like walking into a trap, then work. Promotions for optics, meetings where performance is theater and politics writes the script. You do the real thing, someone else does the visible thing wins. Your body whispers, see? The levers are fake, so you switch to refreshing dashboards, inboxes, messages, like a gambler refreshing the slot machine that never had odds. That habit has a name, outcome addiction. The compulsion to check what you can't control as if the next glance will bless you. Have you noticed how easily it hijacks your day, 10 glances, 20, while your craft sits untouched a meter away? You weren't lazy, you were trained to serve the scoreboard. Here's the contrarian turn. This isn't proof you lack discipline. It's proof your map was tampered with. When the input-outcome link is foggy, the human brain does something sensible. It stops touching hot stoves. But life is full of stoves that only feel hot because someone else's hands never learned to cook. Have you noticed how, when anxiety spikes, you start narrating doom? What if I'm behind? What if they already beat me? Notice the grammar, future tense, other people. None of it lives in your hands. You're rehearsing powerlessness. Marcus Aurelius cuts through. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Not a platitude, a sorting tool. What in this moment is yours? Not the grade, not the like, not the reply. Your breath? Yours. The next sentence you will write? Yours. The way you arrange this room so the work happens by gravity? Yours. Aristotle takes the relay. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence isn't a feeling you store in a jar. It's a groove you carve with small, honest cuts. The habit is the person. Put that next to the Gita's razor. You are entitled to the work, not its fruits. People mishear this as passivity. It's precision. If fruit appears, you eat. If fruit delays, you still build the orchard. Pause and imagine a morning with 0 score checks before noon. No dashboards, no inbox roulette, no seeking permission from blinking dots. Boredom would arrive first, then a quiet, then a faint pull toward the one lever that actually responds. Make. Could you stand that much freedom? Or have you grown attached to the thrill of being helpless? Let's call the training by its real name. Learned helplessness. When dogs were shocked at random, they stopped jumping the barrier even when the path opened. We do the same with grades, moods, office politics. The barrier is gone, but the body remembers the shock. So we sit, noble in our despair, telling ourselves sophisticated stories. Meanwhile, life's quieter levers wait like unclaimed luggage. Diagnosis not equal to destiny. Write that somewhere you can't ignore. The system that blurred inputs and outcomes taught you a lesson. Now you unteach it, not with slogans. With contact, skin on lever, lever moves, nervous system updates. The fix isn't an argument, it's a demonstration. Have you noticed how the mind asks for guarantees before it allows action? Promise me this will pay off. That's the old contract, the one outcomes wrote to keep you obedient. Tear it, replace it with a smaller, stricter clause. I will do what is mine because it is mine. The rest is weather. Miss this shift and you will keep paying for problems you didn't choose. Comparison, doom scrolling, the steady corrosion of self-trust. But if you grasp it, you'll feel something strange and clean. Relief. Not because the world softened, but because your hands found purchase. We're about to give your hands a lever you can move today. Not a philosophy to frame on a wall, a way to feel control in 90 seconds. You won't argue yourself into hope, you will act yourself into proof. Hold that thought. The operating principle you'll use for the rest of your life is next. Name it so you can build it. Input sovereignty. You stop bargaining with outcomes and start owning the levers in arm's reach. It's ruthless only in one direction, toward controllable actions with immediate, local feedback. You don't wait for permission, you create proof. There are 3 dials you actually own: time, attention, environment. Time. Shrink the horizon until you can finish before your coffee cools. 10 minutes is an empire when you treat it like one. Decide the window, decide the move, shut the door on everything else. Attention. Single thread the next 10 minutes. Not the morning, not the project, not your life. 10 minutes. Multitasking is an outcome costume. It looks productive and steals your agency. You pour all your light through one keyhole and watch the lock turn. Environment. Make the right thing frictionless and the wrong thing expensive. Put the file you must touch first in your face. Bury the distraction 2 steps away, so your impulse has to climb a fence. Good defaults aren't decoration. They're discipline you don't have to feel. Now the ignition. The 90-second win. One tiny, finishable action that changes the room. Close the 12 tabs. Open one doc. Type 3 ugly sentences that you won't delete. Or set a 2-minute timer and sort the first 5 emails into keep, calendar, trash. You're not chasing motivation. You're training your nervous system to expect completion. Feel that click? That soft internal "oh," that moved because I moved? That's the currency. Agency isn't a thought, it's a sensation earned by finishes. Your brain doesn't update from pep talks, it updates from proofs. Ask aloud right now, what's my next controllable move? Not the perfect move, not the final move, the next one. If your mind serves you options that require someone else to agree, throw them out. If it takes a committee, it isn't your lever. Here's the quiet contrarian truth. The less you chase outcomes, the more outcomes chase you. When you stop refreshing the scoreboard, You free the bandwidth that builds the skill that bends the scoreboard later. You trade superstition for practice. Pitfalls? 2. First, ceremonial productivity. Beautiful systems that never ship a thing. If your ritual takes an hour, your ritual is the avoidance. Second, public performance. Broadcasting "I'm about to" instead of logging "I just did." Keep the proof private. Let the results do your bragging. Hold this frame. Small, honest wins. Small means finish now. Honest means measurable in the room. Win means the state of your world is different at the end. Words on the page, reps on the bar, clutter in the bin, draft in the folder. Stack enough of these and identity stops being a theory and becomes a reflex. Miss this, and you'll keep mistaking anxiety spikes for truth. Hit this, and the spikes become weather. Noticed, not obeyed. You're building a life you can steer with 2 fingers. Keep your grip on the dials. In a minute, we'll stitch these moves into a simple daily system you can run even on your worst days. Hold that thought. Small means finish now. Honest means you can point at it in the room. Win means it changes your state, even a little. That's the entire game you were never taught to play. Say this out loud. In the next 5 to 10 minutes, I will... Not someday, not later. Now. I will open the document and sketch the spine so the project has a body to grow on. I will wash the single plate so the kitchen stops arguing with my brain. You're not proving your worth. You're proving contact with a lever. Run the 4x5 sprint. 4 5-minute pushes, each followed by 1 minute of breath and eyes off screens. No drama, no heroics. You're teaching your nervous system that completion is safe, repeatable, expected. The ritual matters more than the scale. 21 minutes later, you're the person who finishes things. Keep the wins private. Don't monetize them with applause. No screenshots to strangers. No virtue posts to the void. Performative progress confuses your brain. It starts chasing approval, outcome, instead of traction, input. This is your dojo, not your stage. End the day with the done ledger, not a wish list, not a guilt pile. 1 page that records finished inputs only. Outlined chapter, sent draft, walked 10 minutes, deleted 1 distracting app. The ledger is your antidote to amnesia. Every night your brain forgets what you did and remembers what you didn't. The page corrects the lie with evidence. Tomorrow, read yesterday's ledger before you open anything else. Notice the quiet pride that appears when proof appears. That feeling is your compass. Follow it. Seneca smiled at this long before spreadsheets existed. Luck visits the prepared. The ledger is preparation you can point to. When opportunity knocks, you won't improvise a self, you'll reference one. Keep the rules crisp. If it can't be finished now, it's a plan, not a win. If you can't measure it in the room, it's a wish, not a win. If nothing in your state shifts, it's activity, not a win. Ask yourself, what if your self-respect is built from a stack of small, honest completions instead of a cloud of intentions? What if identity is just the echo of what you finish? 2 pitfalls to dodge. First, inflation, making the win too big because your ego wants drama. Shrink it until it's unskippable. Second, hoarding, collecting plans instead of finishes. Plans don't change today. Finishes do. When resistance spikes, don't negotiate. Touch 1 lever. Close the extra tabs. Open the file that matters. Write 3 ugly sentences. Put the shoes by the door. 1 move that makes the next move cheaper. That's a win. And when you miss, reset inside the hour. A single 90-second win stops the story from hardening into shame. You're not clean or dirty. You're training or not training. That's it. Small, honest wins, 4x5, sprints. The done ledger. This is your triad. It's how you turn days into evidence and evidence into calm. You won't feel in control because you said an affirmation. You'll feel in control because the room looks different when you're done with it. Hold that thread. We're about to flip a bigger switch, making the right actions frictionless and the wrong ones expensive. So procrastination stops being cheap entertainment and starts being bad business. Environment isn't background, it's a skill. The room you're in is either training you or taming you. If you feel behind, it's not because you're weak. It's because your surroundings are fast where they should be slow, and slow where they should be fast. Call this friction sculpting. You don't need more willpower. You need more gravity in the right direction. Make the right action the downhill path. Make the wrong action feel like walking through sand. Start small. Put your phone in exile. Another room, screen down, plugged into a cheap outlet timer that cuts power. When it dies, the doom scroll dies with it. One step becomes two, and the impulse loses its teeth. That's two-step temptation. If it takes 2 steps, it shrinks. Now flip to work. Open one file, full screen. Cursor blinking on the first line you must touch, not 10 tabs. 1. Your attention isn't a stadium. It's a keyhole. Narrow it until the world fits. Give your room a job, a writing corner that only writes, a gym corner that only lifts, a bed that only sleeps. When spaces change roles, your brain stalls. When roles are clear, your body knows the next move before you think it. Identity isn't just in your head, it's in the furniture. Use commitment props. Place triggers where your future self trips over them. A water bottle on your keyboard, running shoes by the door, a printed draft on your chair so you must lift the project to sit down. Objects become verbs. Verbs become days. Beware the trap, perfection rooms. If your setup takes an hour, you've built a shrine to avoidance. A good environment isn't pretty, it's obedient. It does what you tell it instantly. Ask yourself, what if one shelf arrangement could buy back an hour every day? What if the difference between stuck and steady is a power outlet in the wrong place? Remove hidden speed from the wrong behaviors. Log out of the tempting site. Require a password manager you don't memorize. Make the candy live on the highest shelf. Make the notebook live on your pillow. Raise the cost of sabotage by pennies. You'll save fortunes and make the right behaviors instant. Pre-open the document you'll need in the morning. Lay out the first workout set, dumbbells, mat, timer. Keep the guitar on a stand, not in a case. If it takes thought, it won't survive fatigue. If it takes reach, it will. A moment of truth. Delete one app you hate love. Feel that tiny grief rise in your throat. Good. That ache is leverage returning to your hands. Freedom has a flavor. It tastes like clean space. Don't negotiate with distractions. Price them. 2 taps? Too cheap. 2 steps? Affordable pain. 3 steps? You'll do it later, which secretly means never. Design for never. Script your doorway. Before you leave a room at night, set one trap for tomorrow's attention. The page open, the first sentence seeded, the checklist with a single box unchecked. Curiosity is a magnet. Prime it. Friction. Sculpting isn't aesthetic, it's kind. You're making it easier to be who you are when you're tired, stressed, or lonely. You're protecting the weakest version of you with decisions made by the strongest version of you. Yes, your environment will fight back. People will text. Notifications will knock. The old layout will whisper, "Come home." Smile. You move the furniture for a reason. You're not punishing yourself, you're parenting your day. If you can only change 3 things, change these. Where the phone sleeps, which file opens by default, and what your chair touches first. 3 switches, massive spillover. You don't need a new life. You need a new room arrangement that makes the life you want easier than the life you're trying to quit. Start with 1 square meter, 1 surface, 1 drawer. Make it hostile to distraction and friendly to starts. Hold this thought. In a minute, we'll stack these changes into a simple 7-day run that flips your mood curve and keeps you out of the pit. without asking motivation for permission. For the next 7 days, we're going to retrain your nervous system to feel control without asking motivation for permission. If you want the rest of this series as we stack deeper layers, subscribe now, because tomorrow we add the social armor that makes backsliding expensive. Day 1 is state first. Before you touch a single notification, move your body for 10 minutes. Walk, pace, breathe, then claim a 90-second win. One tiny, finishable action that changes your environment. Close the extra tabs. Name the file. Write 3 ugly sentences. Tonight, start a done ledger and record only what you completed. Not what you promised, not what you meant, what you did. Your brain trusts proof more than pep talks. Day 2 is 1 lever. Choose a single piece of work that actually moves your life and touch it before messages touch you. 10 unbroken minutes is enough. The point isn't heroics, it's sequencing. You're teaching your day who leads. Have you noticed how 5 minutes on the right lever feels heavier than an hour of scattered effort? That weight is meaning. Carry it first. Day 3 is environment cut. Make the right thing easy and the wrong thing inconvenient. Remove 1 app that steals your mornings. Leave 1 chat that turns progress into debate. Clear 1 pile that keeps whispering you're behind. What if 1 shelf arrangement could give you an hour back? You don't need more discipline. You need fewer doors to nowhere. Day 4 is output fast. Ship something messy to yourself. An email draft, a page of notes, a half-formed outline, anything that leaves your head and hits the world, even privately. You're proving momentum can exist before certainty. Perfection is an outcome costume. Take it off. Ask yourself, did today's inputs get easier, faster, clearer? That's process ROI, and it pays every time. Day 5 is social cue. Tell 1 ally, I'm practicing inputs. Ask me what I finished, not what you planned, not what you're dreaming, what you put down in the done ledger. Choose someone who respects quiet progress. Less talk, more proof. Have you noticed how goals shrink when you perform them for applause? We're building gravity, not theater. Day 6 is recovery plan. Pre-decide what success looks like on a bad day. 2 small honest wins, then stop. A walk and a paragraph. A cleaned sink and an email sent. When storms hit, identity collapses to what you can finish now. You don't earn rest, you schedule it. Miss this, and 1 off day becomes an identity you didn't choose. Day 7 is review ritual. Read your week's done ledger out loud. Feel the pattern. Tiny levers, real movement. Choose 1 lever to double next week and 1 obstacle to retire. No self-insults, only adjustments. Ask, what was in my control? What wasn't? What's the next lever? That's the 2-minute post-mortem. Data, not drama. Pride will show up quietly here. Let it. It's the sound of trust returning. Pause. Smile on purpose. Yes, actually do it. Your brain listens to posture and breath more than it listens to dread. Agency is a sensation before it becomes a philosophy. Across these 7 days, keep a few rules like talismans. Sequence beats intensity. Completion beats intention. Friction is a tool, not a fate. When you miss, invoke the reset clause. Within the hour, run a 90-second win. Do not negotiate with shame. It's a poor project manager. And if the voice asks, but where are the results? Answer with a quieter question. Did I honor my inputs today? The less you chase, the more you lead. Outcomes are weather. Inputs are shelter. You build shelter brick by brick, not headline by headline. By the end of the week, you won't just think you have control. You'll have touched the levers enough times to believe it. Hold this line. Tomorrow, we add the armor, boundaries, completion partners, and quiet leverage, so your gains survive other people's storms and your own. Your quiet isn't weakness, It's leverage. When the room gets loud, metrics, opinions, urgency theater, you don't need to shout back. You need a script and a spine. Start with boundaries. Speak in verbs you control, not outcomes you don't. I don't discuss results midweek. I show inputs on Friday. If someone pushes, repeat it calmly. No debate, no apology, no footnotes. You're not hiding, you're conserving talk. Now turn curiosity into armor. Run n=1 experiments. One variable per week, nothing more. Earlier, start, aid or time. Different first step, new room layout. You're not proving your worth, you're sampling reality. Have you noticed how judgment evaporates when you turn a problem into a test? Watch for shame spirals. They convert one miss into an identity costume you can't take off. Install the reset clause. Any miss triggers a 90-second win within the hour. Wipe the slate with action so small it can't fail. Rename a file. Send the draft to yourself. Put shoes by the door. Momentum over meaning-making. Be careful with accountability. Many groups measure noise, check-ins, promises, motivational fog. You need completion partners instead. One person, one photo of the done ledger at day's end. Nothing else. No pep talks. Proof, not theater. What if saying less protects more? Leave one chat silently. Mute one thread that spikes your amygdala. Space is strategy. The work grows where interruption thins. When people demand forecasts, return to craft. I'll share what I finished, not what I fantasized. Boundaries are not walls, they're irrigation channels. They direct your water to the field that feeds you. Remember Laozi, do your work, then step back. That step back isn't apathy. It's the refusal to let applause or criticism hold the steering wheel. You place results in the rear view and keep your hands on the next lever. Miss this, and you'll keep rehearsing catastrophe instead of collecting data. Hold this, and sabotage, yours or theirs, becomes background noise to the sound of things getting done. Hold that thought. We're about to make failure harmless. Failure isn't a verdict, it's raw data. Your nervous system learned to treat outcomes like gods and your effort like a rumor. We reverse that now. The 2-minute post-mortem. Ask 3 questions out loud. What was in my control? What wasn't? What's my next lever? No self-biography, no adjectives about you, only verbs about inputs. Open doc, drafted 3 lines. Sent. Clean, verifiable, boring on purpose. Your brain wants a courtroom. Give it a lab. Curiosity beats judgment. Missed the mark? Good, now you can see the mark. 1% tilts. Instead of reinvention, nudge. Change one element. Time of day, first step, room, or trigger. If right after lunch keeps failing, slide it to 2 lines before coffee. If your phone ambushes you, put it in another room and start with pen and paper. 1 variable, 1 week, measured in completions, not feelings. Say this out loud. It's data. Feel the heat drop. Drama is a tax on learning. Watch for outcome bargains, the quiet deals you make with the scoreboard. If this doesn't blow up in 3 days, I quit. That's fear pretending to be standards. Replace it with process ROI. Ask, did today's inputs get easier, faster, clearer? If yes, the compounding is already underway. If no, tilt 1% and log it. What if progress is reduced resistance, not prettier numbers? What if self-respect grows from honest repetitions, not viral spikes? Marcus Aurelius would shrug. Events are neutral. Your judgment sets them on fire. So put the fire out, label the event, pull the lever, log the input, repeat. Now stretch yourself, gently. The anti-fragile slot. Once a week, schedule 1 attempt that's slightly too hard, just beyond comfort. A new client email, a 5-minute unscripted talk, a page you're scared to write. Micro-overload with rapid recovery. You don't toughen by bracing forever. You expand by visiting the edge and coming home stronger. Pitfall, turning learning into another outcome chase. You start hoarding tips, swapping tools, worshipping novelty. Counter by returning to the ledger. What did I complete today that was in my control? If you can't list it, you're collecting shiny objects instead of building a spine. Failure immunity isn't never falling. It's falling onto mats you placed yourself. Questions, tilts, ledgers, one brave weekly edge. You become hard to humiliate because you refuse to be vague. Hold this frame. No adjectives, only verbs. No bargains, only levers. No drama, only data. Next, we fuse all of it into a daily operating system you can run half asleep. Miss that, and you'll rebuild from scratch every week. I call this the Input OS. It's not a mood, not a manifesto. An operating system you boot every morning so your day can't hijack you. Identity isn't a feeling, it's a schedule you keep when no one's watching. You wake and move for 10 minutes, not to impress a watch, but to remind your nervous system, I can start. Breath rises, joints warm, the fog thins. Then you act for 10 minutes on something that matters, tiny, finishable, local. The brain learns from completion, not intention. Only after that do you plan. 3 wins you can finish today, not dreams, not hopes. 3 levers you can physically pull. Before messages, you touch 1 lever. 1. You make progress before you get permission. The world can wait 5 minutes. Your sovereignty can't. Midday, you sprint in short, honest bursts. 4 rounds of 5 minutes, 1 minute reset between. The clock becomes a container, not a tyrant. Or, if you're stable, you step into the anti-fragile slot. 1 task slightly too hard. Enough stretch to teach your system that challenge isn't a threat. It's a rehearsal for larger rooms. Evening, you close the loop with the done ledger. No fantasies, no punishment, just a receipt of inputs you finished. Then a 2-minute post-mortem. What was mine to control, what wasn't, and what lever I'll touch first tomorrow. 2 minutes, then stop. Analysis that never ends is just a prettier form of avoidance. Weekly, you run an n=1 experiment, 1 variable at a time. Time of day, first step, room layout. Curiosity over judgment. Alongside it, you cut 1 piece of friction from your environment. An app, a drawer of noise, a useless notification. Subtract to expand. Monthly, you quit something that owns you, a subscription you don't use, a performance costume, a stale commitment that only survives because you're afraid to be seen changing. Freedom feels like subtraction at first, then it feels like accuracy. Have you noticed how your energy blooms when the day has a spine? That's the OS doing what willpower can't. The less you chase, the more you lead, because you become the person who moves without waiting for outcomes to flirt back. When you stall, and you will, shrink the window, not the standard. Ask, what's my next controllable move? Do a 90-second win. Put the file on the screen. Write 3 ugly sentences. Agency returns when your hand moves, not when your mind negotiates. Miss this, and you'll keep rebuilding your life from scratch every Monday. Run it, and momentum becomes your quiet ally. This is where pride starts to feel like evidence, not noise. Now make it a vow, out loud. I choose inputs that compound. I practice small, honest wins with integrity. Hold that. In the next part, we pressure test your OS against storms, flooded days, loud people, and the week that tries to erase you. When the wave hits, don't argue with it. Breathe 6 slow cycles, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Then ask 1 question, what's my next controllable lever? Touch it for 90 seconds. 1 tiny, honest win. You've just reminded your nervous system that you move the world, not the other way around. When people pull you back into metrics and performances, use quiet leverage. I don't debate outcomes. I'll show inputs on Friday. Keep one completion partner who only sees proof, a photo of your done ledger, nothing else. And decide in advance what an off day still means. 2 small, honest wins and you're clean. Permission granted to be human without abandoning the helm. If the week collapses, shrink your world. Run MAP. Move for 10 minutes. Act for 10 minutes. Plan 3 wins. Ledger the minimum. No outcome checks before noon. Your identity is the process you keep under pressure, not the numbers you refresh when you're scared. The old books have been saying it all along. Epictetus points at what's yours. Aurelius steadies the mind. Aristotle ties character to repetition. The Gita hands you the razor. Do the work that's yours. Release what isn't. Different tongues, same chorus. Sovereignty isn't an opinion, it's a practice. What if you're not failing, just untrained in sovereignty? Pause. Picture one room that will look different tomorrow because of one lever you'll move tonight. See the glass of water on the desk, the single open document, the shoes by the door. Small, honest wins, stacked with integrity, become a life. Say it with me. I choose inputs that compound. I practice small, honest wins with integrity. Miss today, and the old game resumes. Play today, and the new game starts. You're not behind, you're beginning. We've secured your levers. Next, we strip shame of its power so no one, especially you, can weaponize your past. How the fool cheats death is the essential next move. The art of preemptive self-owning that turns your soft spot into armor. You don't need permission. You needed a handle you could actually grip. Open the done ledger. 1 90-second win. Now. Outcomes are weather, inputs are shelter. Outcomes lie. Inputs save.